ハイナウジャパンはアウトリガーホテルズ&リゾーツハワイ州観光局の提供でお送りします。アロハ、Welcome to ハイナウジャパン。皆さんこんにちは。番組ホストの松本裕太です。今回もハワイの魅力がたっぷり詰まったエピソードをご紹介していきます。早速ショーのヘッドラインをどうぞ。ハワイで大人気のボーイズグループクロッシングレイン。ハワイ最大のオーシャンスポーツイベントデュークスオーシャンフェスト。イベントスポンサーのセントラルパシフィックバンクとはどんな銀行？どこにも大人気帰ってきた沖縄フェスティバル。アウトリガーホテルズ&リゾーツが誇る才能あふれるアーティスト。ハワイの子供たちを世界で活躍する存在にパープルマイアの活動をご紹介。 It's a full show。 まずはハワイで大人気のボーイズグループクロッシングレインのご紹介です。ロコボーイの5人で結成されたグループクロッシングレイン。結成後まだ間もない彼らですが、すでに大変な人気を誇っています。先日のナホクハノハノアワードも受賞。今回私たちはダンススタジオにいる彼らにインタビューをしてきました。
Aloha, my name is Monarch and I come from the east side of Oahu Island in Hawaii.Aloha, my name is Jay or Jordan. I come from the big island of Hawaii. I grew up in Hilo.
Hi, I'm Shotaro. I live in Oahu at Kahala.
Hi, my name is Haru and I come from the west side of Oahu.
Hi, my name is Devin and I'm from Aiea of Oahu.
How did you guys get together?
We got put together by our amazing CEO by our label, Tears of Entertainment. We were all scouted, I guess you could say, on social media.Our CEO and her team looked at like over 300 different videos and social medias to find us and put us together in the beginning of last year. And it's been like almost over a year now that we're together.
How did you guys come up with the name Crossing Rain?
The crossing portion of our name symbolizes that we want to cross, oceans, continents, streets, and anything else in order to get to our thunders, all of our fans, in order to reach them and, support them with our music and our love. The rain portion of our name symbolizes, here in Hawaii, the rain, the water symbolizes blessing and, healing and nurturing. And the rain heals us back home. It pushes us, helps us do better in each and every one of our shows and to better ourselves for our fans.
I know you guys are individually super talented, but I guess it's totally different experience to be in a group. How's the experience so far?
I think that we really lucked out. Like Jordan said, we didn't know each other very well or at all when we first got put together, but we're very lucky because we get along really well, and I feel like we're family at this point and we work really well together. I feel like we can all be very creative together, and also when there is problems, like we know how to just talk about them and bring them up, and then we can squash them as a team.
How do you manage that, to be a super group like this and go to school at the same time?
As some fans might know, I'm 14 years old, so I'm in 8th grade, but it's a full-time job, so it's kind of hard doing school with doing work. So this year I'm gonna do tutoring right now because it's very convenient working and studying at home, so it's very convenient. Yeah.
飛躍を続けるクロッシングレインは先日アメリカ本土での初のコンサートを ウエストハリウッドのロキシーシアターで開催しました。
The Roxy is such an iconic venue, and it was such an honor for us to perform there. But we all had such a blast there, and it's funny because like the performance day was a long day for us, so a lot of us were like taking naps throughout the day and just kind of like rehearsing and then falling asleep and then doing hair and makeup and then falling back asleep. So it was a lot of fun, and we just kind of, I feel like we got closer in that experience too. And then performance night when we actually performed, it's just the energy from the crowd was just so lively and so electric that it pushed us to perform and try harder. And we also got to work with some amazing dancers up in LA, some studios up there, and they're such cool people to meet, and they're so inspiring to us too, and we just want to go back there.
日本出身の翔太郎さんから日本のファンに向けてメッセージをいただきました。
日本の皆さん、日本に行くのはみんな本当に楽しみで、いつも練習とか、歌とかダンスとかすごい頑張っているので、日本に行くとき本当に楽しみなので、未来でまた会える日を楽しみにしています。ありがとうございます。
Thank you 翔太郎さん。私はなんとクロッシングレインからダンスを教わるという贅沢な経験もさせていただきました。その様子をご覧ください。
Just about got it, Utah. No, you're doing good, man. Yeah.
私のダンスはさておき、これからもさらに飛躍していくクロッシングレインから目が離せませんね。彼らの最新の情報はクロッシングレイン .com で。 What did you think of my dance moves? さて、今も愛される伝説のサーファーデューク・カハナモクをたたいて毎年開催されるハワイ最大のオーシャンスポーツイベント、デュークスオーシャンフェスト。このイベントにセントラルパシフィックバンクが新たにスポンサーとして加わりました。デュークスオーシャンフェストといえば、ハワイで開催される大規模なスポーツイベントの一つ。オリンピックの金メダリストでサーフィンを世界中に広めたデューク・カハナモクをたたえて開催されます。残念ながらパンデミックの影響で2年間中止となりましたが、今年はセントラルパシフィックバンクも新しいスポンサーとして加わり、さらに魅力的になって復活しました。
オーシャンスポーツの祭典デュークオーシャンフェストはまさにハワイの海の文化を象徴するイベントであり、同じくハワイ生まれのセントラルパシフィックバンクとしてもぜひスポンサーとして応援したくオフィシャルスポンサーとなりました。また東京オリンピックで初めて競技種目になったサーフィン女子で金メダルを獲得したカリサムア選手は CPB アンバサダーでもあり、カリサがリスペクトする伝説のサーファーデュークの名が付くこのフェスティバルは CPB にとっても思い入れのある祭典なんです。
サーフィンは日本とハワイをつなぐスポーツの架け橋ですが、まさにセントラルパシフィックバンクは銀行として日本とハワイの金融の架け橋のような存在なんです。
私たちはですね、1954年に空港の名前でも有名なダニエル・K・イノウエ元連邦上院議員をはじめ日系2世のグループによりハワイに創立された銀行で、日本とは非常につながりの深い歴史があります。ハワイは日本から一番近いアメリカの州ですし、また文化的にも日本の商習慣が色濃く残っています。ハワイと日本は経済的に強い関係性があり、日本からの観光客はコロナ前は年間160万人にも上り、ハワイ経済に大きく貢献する要因となっていました。最近では観光以外のビジネスの日本の企業の投資意欲も多く見られますので、今後もより一層経済や人材の交流が活発になっていくことを願っております。当行はコロナ禍のハワイで40億円の投資をし、本店のリニューアルやサービスのデジタル化を図るプロジェクトを進めてまいりました。本店のロビーはこれまでの銀行イメージを覆すスターバックスやアロハビアがあるオープンなスペースとなり、また ATM やオンラインランキングも一新され、より便利なお取引をいただけるようになりました。
セントラルパシフィックバンクが提供する日本のお客様向けのさまざまな嬉しいサービスについて教えてください。
まずワイキキの中心部には私が部長を務める国際部があります。こちらは主に日本や韓国にお住まいの非居住者のお客様や日系韓国企業の対応をする部署となっており、ハワイに住んでいなくても口座開設やさまざまなお取引ができるようなサポートをしております。現在15名の日本人が勤務しておりますので、日本語でお気軽にお問い合わせいただけます。また CPB では昨年末に日本語ウェブサイトをリニューアルしました。全米ナンバーワンの銀行日本語サイトではないかと自負しております。分かりやすく使いやすいサイトを心がけて常に内容をアップデートしていますので、ぜひご覧ください。そしてこの秋にはオンラインバンキングも日本語でお使いいただけるようになりますので、ぜひこちらもお楽しみにしてください。
Wow, everything sounds so great! 最後に日本の皆様にぜひメッセージを。
はい、日本在住の方でもハワイにいらして講座を開くことができます。ハワイにお越しの際はぜひ事前に当校のウェブサイトをご覧いただき、講座開設をご検討ください。現在 ATST とのコラボグッズキャンペーンも実施しております。皆様をハワイでお待ちしてます。マハロー。
Thank you Central Pacific Bank and Dukes Ocean Fest。 皆さんはハワイで最も大きなカルチャーイベントの一つ、沖縄フェスティバルをご存知ですか？実はハワイと沖縄は長い間強い絆で結ばれているんです。私は今ホノルルで行われている沖縄フェスティバルにやってきました。
今回はもう40回目になります。もともとは小さなパークでやって、もう1年ぶりもっと大きくなってこのフェスティバルはね、6万人ぐらいのお客さんが来ますね。それで何が言うとはやっぱしハワイではですね、3世とか4世ですけど、沖縄の人がいっぱいいるんで、いつももう沖縄の文化のことをディスプレイしますね。だから後ろみたいに沖縄の踊りとか沖縄フードもあります。So in Hawaii and Okinawa, we have a very strong kizuna, very つながってるね。We always helped each other for a very long time, and Okinawans that live here, we're probably fifth generation. They moved here in 1900s. They've been living here for a long time already. But their connection to Okinawa has always been strong. Family connection. And after World War II, Battle of Okinawa, Okinawa was devastated. And Okinawa, of course, very poor. They were very hungry. And Okinawans that live here actually came together. They wanted to help Okinawa. And they actually got together to actually send pigs. There's a story called Buta no Ongaishi, where Hawaii people actually rallied together to send pigs back to Okinawa so they can flourish. And that's why pig is always a delicacy in Okinawa. Yeah? Okinawa people have always been thankful of the Hawaii Okinawa people, and so we've always had this really strong relationship with Okinawa.
強い絆で結ばれた沖縄とハワイ。この沖縄フェスティバルが果たす役割とは？
The one thing is, how can we support Okinawa? It was a big thing, but we also let them know what's going on in Hawaii as well too. So that's something that's very important to us. I want to keep that tie very strong with Okinawa.
We hope the bond between Okinawa and Hawaii will last forever. Hi Now Japan まだまだ続きます。Welcome back to Hi Now Japan。 皆さんは以前もご紹介したアウトリガーホテルズ&リゾーツの魅力に花を添える才能あふれるアーティストを覚えていますか？アウトリガーホテルズ&リゾーツのさまざまな施設には思わず目を惹かれるウォールアートが描かれているのをご存知ですか？今回はこれらハワイの魅力を捉えた絵を描いたアーティストエリン・イバーラさんのご紹介です。
When you're seeing Malia for the first time, I definitely want you to be intrigued, and I want it to feel whimsical and magical. the name of the hotel is the Malia. Well, what is Malia? What does it mean? How can we tell the story of who Malia is? The sea goddess Malia. And a lot of Hawaiian culture and a lot of the Hawaiian legends and stuff embody the Aina, the sea, as people. And I think that's maybe where that kind of came from a little bit. A bit of the message of like, don't tread on me, like I'm alive. So, and that's a message that they're always trying to tell people when they come here. It's like, watch out, don't step on the coral. It's a living thing. The reef is alive. So as to literally illustrate the reef as this living lady.
数々の素晴らしいウォールアートを手掛けるエリンさん。実は独学でこれまでの絵を描いてきたそうです。
I came to Hawaii to work in restaurants and bars and just get out here in the scene. After a few years of doing that, I realized that the creative side of the restaurants is kind of what sparked my interest more. And I started finding ways to lend my handwriting skills or my art skills to different businesses I worked for. And that's kind of where I honed in on this talent I figured out that I have. I didn't really knew I had.
ワイキキビーチコマ by アウトリガーの各エレベーターホールに描かれているこちらの植物の絵、実はこちらもエリンさんの作品です。
Well, a lot of the stuff around the hotel is definitely inspired by just nature in Hawaii. I mean, you can't help it. When you live here, everything's amazing. And I really wanted to take a second to look at maybe what was not so commonly looked at in Hawaiian, like flowers or scenery. We see a lot of the hibiscus and the plumeria and the ginger and over, and I thought, geez, if we're gonna feature some flowers on these walls, let's go for some that aren't as well known. And let's go for some that get overlooked a lot. And let's really shine a light on native Hawaiian plants, endemic plants that we should be preserving and noticing more. Ultimately came out as this like love letter to native Hawaiian flowers. And
エリンさんの描く絵は面白いアイディアでいっぱい。各フロアの植物の絵は実際その植物が生息する標高を考慮して描かれているんだとか。
Yeah, it came up in a conversation. Why don't we do them in the order in which they grow naturally? And then, of course, I was like, oh, I have a lot of research to do now. Because now we really gotta if we're gonna do this, let's do it right. And so then, yeah, we just started doing tons of back research on all those flowers and sort of layering them. So the ones like the ohai on the ground floor is something you'll find growing right on the beaches. And then the mamane on the top floor grows right on the crests of the volcanoes and stuff. So.
最後にエリンさんから日本の皆さんへメッセージをいただきました。
Whole in Hawaii without the Japanese people here visiting. There's such an integral part of the culture here, and I think they bounce off each other so much. They're so symbiotic. So we can't wait. We just can't wait for everyone to come back and for things to get back to normal and for all of that energy and everything to be whole here again. And I definitely hope when you guys come back, you'll appreciate some of the new art, the things that happened, while we were all kind of hunkered down. We created some beautiful things to come back and look at. So.
エリンさんのウォールアートでさらに魅力的になったアウトリガーホテルズ&リゾーツ。彼女の素晴らしい想像力と才能で次は一体どんなアートが生まれるのでしょうか。Thank you, Outrigger Hotels and Resorts。続いてはハワイの子供たちが将来世界で活躍するためにテクノロジーとハワイの文化を同時に教える素晴らしい団体パープルマイアのご紹介です。紫は自然界で最も希少な色であり、またよく精神面と結びつけられる色です。ハワイのパープルマイアという団体は子どもたちに自身の希少でユニークな部分を見つけて自分を信じること、そしてテクノロジーと科学を通して地域社会や世界に貢献する方法を教えています。
We are on a mission to educate and inspire the next generation of culturally grounded, community-serving technology makers and problem solvers. So we have an amazing team of cultural experts and practitioners, fellow educators, technologists, and creatives, and we all work together to co-create this amazing programming that's culturally rooted for Keiki and OPO.
パープルマイヤはテクノロジーと起業家精神によって ネイティブハワイアンをはじめとするハワイの人々がハワイの未来に向けた重要な役割を果たすことができると歌っています。テクノロジーと地域の専門家の協力を得て、生徒たちは成功体験を積んでいきます。
Our goal is for Opio and Keiki to see themselves as a link between indigenous ecological technologies, contemporary digital innovations, and a vai-vai future, so an abundant future. And so I think every single program that Haumana participate in, they get a sense of being that link. And the more programs that they participate in, the stronger that link becomes.
パープルマイヤが子どもたちのために大切にしているプログラムの一つがフムペア、ハワイアンカヌー作りです。過去から現在までの技術を学びながら帆を作り、ミニチュアカヌーを海に浮かべます。
Humupea, or sail making, was a program that we ran this summer in which Haumana got a chance to experiment with 3D modeling, rapid prototyping, learn about aerodynamics to create a 1/5 scale sailing canoe, which they were able to actually test out on the ocean at the end of our program. Our Haumana got to work together in teams to do three main things for this program. The first was to assemble va'a made from PVC pipe. So we were using 2-inch PVC pipe, which we could get into more later. But they put together the hull, the ako, and the ama. And from there they got to design and lash their own sail rigs. And finally they actually fabricated cloth sails using scraps from a 200-foot spinnaker sail that was donated to us by North Sail folks here in Honolulu. And from there on Hawike Day, we actually took these back to Huilua Fish Pond by Kahana Bay and launched them on the water and got a chance to see how their designs worked. And I'm happy to say that they all floated and they all sailed really well and in their own ways too. They've each sailed differently because each design was unique.
I liked learning about the sail making because it was out of my comfort zone. I'm more into things that are more easier, something that helps me feel that I can do it and that I can actually achieve it. And this took me out of my comfort zone to where I had to really try and not get frustrated. It made me feel really connected to my ancestors because, like I said before, it was something that they used to do back then, and it was really cool to know that what I was doing today is something they did a long time ago and that it carried through time.
Purple Mai, I think, is a really great program. I took two programs. One was coding with Aloha Aina, and this one, which was the sailing and sail making with Purple Mai. And both were really wonderful because, like I said, the doing technology with the Hawaiian traditions is something that's really awesome to see because a lot of people learn differently, and one I knew is from coding and being hands-on, and so seeing both is really, really awesome, and it's something that, like I said, we don't really see as much, but we should.
実際に自身でカヌーを作り浮かべることで達成感とともに先人の知恵を学ぶことができます。
It made me feel really good. It made me feel accomplished. Like I finally got to see, after many weeks of learning and finally putting it together, our final product actually being used and being sailed. I really thought it was really accomplishing.
過去の価値観が未来の誇りを左右する。パープルマイヤはハワイの価値観で未来をナビゲートする方法を若者に教えているのです。今回もハイナウジャパンをご覧いただきありがとうございます。We hope you enjoy the show. 私たちの各 SNS でもハワイの魅力を随時発信しています。またハワイの最新ニュースは私たちの YouTube チャンネルハイナウジャパンニュースアップデートをぜひチェックしてみてください。それではまた次回ハイナウジャパンでお会いしましょう。アロハ。ハイナウジャパンはご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りしました。